Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to my first Pokemon Sun and Moon Showdown battle video. To start things off, and because it is currently snowing outside and you might be able to hear a plow in the background, I'm going to be running a Hail team, which is a team that I have been wanting to use since pretty much the games came out. Basically focusing around using Alolan Ninetales, which is the new setter of Hail, mainly to be used in combination with the new Aurora Veil move, which is basically setting up Light Screen and Reflect but in one turn. And this move provides an immense amount of support for any team and basically allows really offensive teams and really defensive teams to work very well. I kind of have a little bit of a mix between the two. So offensively, my main sweepers are Gyarados and Alolan Sandslash, both of which are powerful physical attackers that can really take advantage of the support from Aurora Veil or just the Hail, which obviously Alolan Sandslash can use because of the new Slush Rush ability. And to kind of round things off defensively, I'm running Magnezone primarily just because it can be a Steel Trapper, which a lot of Hail-based teams can struggle to deal with, such as things like Ferrothorn and Scizor. So being able to trap those is really useful. Also, being able to trap opposing Magnezones, which I've done a few times with this team. But then to round this off, more allowing this team to take hits really well, I'm running Mandibuzz and Clefable, both of which pack abilities that make me immune to the Hail damage, which is super cool. Obviously in the Overcoat ability for Mandibuzz and Magic Guard for Clefable. And Mandibuzz is primarily there for Defog and also Knockoff, whereas Clefable is my Rocks setter of the team, and just a really good physical wall outright. But the main purpose of this team is really just to find a safe switch into Alolan Ninetales and then set up Aurora Veil and then try to sweep. So there's going to be a lot of plays that I'm going to make this battle, which might seem risky, but it's mainly as a way to allow me to just have a free switch into Ninetales in the following turn. And it ends up actually working out in my favor quite a few times. So let's start this off. My opponent leads off with Landorus, whereas I lead off with my Alolan Ninetales. Now, me fearing the opposing Pokemon to be Scarfed, which is extremely common, I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Clefable, knowing that I could pretty much take a hit from it really well, if it goes for Stone Edge, obviously, and it could give me a free opportunity to set up Rocks or something else in the following turn. But he decides to switch out, which basically tells me that he is actually not Scarfed, which is really good information for later, and he goes down to his own Magnezone, and me now fearing the Flash Cannon, obviously, I decide to go out into my own Magnezone to possibly trap it on a move it doesn't want to be trapped on, because a lot of Magnezones are Specs, and that would have been perfect for me. But unfortunately for me, he just Volt switches out. It goes out into Pheromosa. So me now knowing that, okay, I have to bring in something to take a hit from it. I'm not entirely sure what. I don't want to risk going to Clefable, and he predicts a Poison Jab or something. So I just go into Mandibuzz, and I actually take that better than I thought I would, to be completely honest. But now me knowing that, he might be locked into High Jump Kick, I have no idea, but that damage just seemed like Choice Banded damage to me. I decided to go into Clefable to resist it, and it still does 40%, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I'm just going to use this opportunity knowing he's probably going to switch out to set up my Rocks as he goes into Magnezone. And now last time he went for the Volt switch. I don't think he wants to risk going for the Flash Cannon again this time, so I'm just going to stay in and go for Fire Blast. I actually outspeed, which I wasn't actually expecting. And the other thing that could have happened was if he just took me out that turn, I would have had a free opportunity to switch into my own Magnezone and just trap him on Flash Cannon, which would have been awful for him. So it really wouldn't matter too much if I did lose my Clefable there, but I get to keep it. And him now being locked in on Hidden Power gives me a free opportunity to go for Soft Boiled while he just decides to switch out into his Toxapex. Now this Pokemon, while really bulky, isn't very threatening against a team that has a lot of support with some other, like Steel types and things like that. So I decided to just go to Magnezone. If he wants to go for Toxic, I don't really care. If he wants to go for Scald, it's really not going to do that much. So he actually goes into Tapu Bulu here now, and me again thinking, okay, he's going to go for Earthquake. Actually, no, he wouldn't go for Earthquake. He would go for Superpower. I was thinking maybe I could live this, and if I don't, it gives me a free switch into Alolan Ninetales. But he's actually afraid that I'm faster than him and would go for Flash Cannon. So he actually switches out into Toxapex, which now gives me a free turn to go into Alolan Ninetales right here and set up the first Aurora Veil of the battle. And this is going to be really useful because grassy terrain's up, which is going to mean I'm going to be recovering HP while he's losing it from the Hail and everything like that. And I have, boosted defenses and can just go for the Freeze Dry to take this thing out. So now he brings in Pheromosa, and I can take any hit because Aurora Veil is up. So I decide to just stay in. I lose a bit of health, but I get to take out the Pheromosa in return, which is amazing for me because that Pokemon, which is normally a huge threat, is no longer a factor anymore. So now he brings in his own Magnezone. I decided to switch back into my Magnezone. Maybe if this was the turn he wanted to go for Hidden Power Fire. This time it wouldn't matter because I have the Aurora Veil up, so it wouldn't have really done too much to me. But he just Volt Switches again, and he goes out into his own Landorus. And now because the Aurora Veil is up, I am pretty safe in switching into literally anything. So I decided to go into Gyarados here because I'm like, alright, this is the perfect opportunity for me to go ahead and just set up, and maybe I can just sweep right here. But he decides to go into Tapu Bulu, which is perfect for me. I actually have Bounce on this Gyarados with Flyinium Z, but because I don't need to use Flyinium Z right away, I'm going to decide to go for the Bounce outright. And thankfully, because Aurora Veil is up, I missed the Bounce, which stinks, but I'm able to actually live this Wood Hammer, which is amazing because that is up. And so now I'm just like, alright, well, I guess I just have to go for another Bounce. And he goes for Horn Leech right here. Would have KO'd because Aurora Veil is gone now. But I'm just like, he can't stay in. So he's going to go ahead and switch out now into Landorus. And he's going to get the Intimidate off, which is going to make me a little bit weaker. But I'm going to miss a second Bounce, which I'm just like, no, why is this happening to me? So unfortunately, now he's just going to be able to freely go on to Tapu Bulu here. I'm just going to go for the Waterfall, thinking I could probably take out Landorus at this range of health. But I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go for the Supersonic Strike with Flyinium Z. I just take this thing out, I'm like, whatever, I want this thing gone. But now I'm unfortunately just going to immediately lose my Moxie boost, which stinks, because he's just going to go immediately out into Landorus, and I'm just like, alright, we'll just Waterfall. Turns out I actually would not have KO'd him, and he's just going to go for Toxic here, interestingly enough, which means to me he might not even have Stone Edge, which is interesting information. But because of the Rocky Helmet, unfortunately I'm going to go down on this turn. Isn't too big of a deal, but it would have been awesome to have Gyarados sweep. But me now knowing that I'm pretty much faster than everything else on his team, or rather I can just bring in Sandslash after I set up the Hail, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Ninetales, and then I'm going to go for the Aurora Veil just for security purposes, knowing that if something goes completely awry, or I don't even know, like I somehow miss an Iron Head because he's Bright Powder Tapu Lele, I have no idea. But I'm just going to bring in Sandslash right here, and at this point I can just Iron Head. I'm Life Orb, so this is definitely going to kill. And on the following turn, he's just going to have Magnezone left, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake for the KO, which is going to give me the victory, which is awesome. And I absolutely love this Hail team, and I'm going to keep using it because it's really fun. But I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to run a similar team, go right ahead. I have had a lot of success with this thus far, though I haven't obviously broken into the higher tier of battles yet. Where I'd probably be facing a little bit more stronger opponents than maybe this guy was with his team. But I mean, he had a lot of stuff that you pretty much see really often in OU. So this is a pretty good test for what it can do. But anyways, everybody, I hope you all enjoyed this video. So thank you all for watching. And as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.